I turned on the light and saw Scott's head shaking, kind of like a blender that keeps rumbling 3 seconds after you turn it off. I wasn't really awake yet, so I couldn't quite understand what was happening, what I could not stop from happening. I can't tell you how much time passed, 30 seconds or 100 years. But as quickly as Scott had started shaking, he stopped moving. "What's happening?" I half screamed, half pleaded. Scott didn't answer. All I know is that finally he let out 2 desperate, involuntary breaths, and then he didn't breathe again. That was yesterday. So what I want is for nice enough salesmen to give me a minute, because things are kind of fucked up right now. I'm planning a traditional-ish Jewish funeral for my husband when I'm supposed to be planning his 45th birthday party. I'm Black and Baptist, and he's a white Jewish guy. I feel a little out of my depth. Also, what the hell? We are in the middle of finalizing the adoption of the aforementioned sleeping baby, who's been with us since he was 6 months old, but is still not yet legally ours. I actually just got back from Maryland, the state of all of our births, after one in a series of very stressful legal proceedings to make sure we get to keep him. I'm supposed to be focusing on that, not standing here in this stupid cemetery deciding whether Scott's body will spend eternity in a fancy wall or in a hole in the ground in the Jewish section or in some non-denominational section so he can be married with me, his Black Baptist wife. My understanding is that I can't be buried in the Jewish section when I eventually die. I can't imagine that's going to be anytime soon, but then again, Scott's not supposed to be dead either. So I don't know what to tell you. As Nice Enough Salesman continues his sales pitch, I look back over at my mother, who sits several yards away on a golf cart with my twin sister Lynn, my best friend Melanie, and Scott's cousin Kim, whom the Black Baptists have brought along for her specific area of expertise. "We need a Jewish person," I told her that morning when she showed up at our house, in shock but wanting to be useful. When someone you love dies, that's what you do. You do everything you can to be useful, so you don't have time to remember that someone you love has just died. My sister and Melanie, both of whom came in from Baltimore yesterday and are running on fumes and stunned adrenaline, are eating out of a bag of chips. I think Mel got them on the plane. Wait, am I hungry? Probably. To date, my morning diet has consisted of wine, cake, and last night's garlicky hummus, which I probably still smell like. Not my problem. I have lost a pound. Yes, even tragic and disorienting sudden death cannot stop me from weighing myself. I guess I cried off a pound. Is it wrong to be happy about that? "Thank you for telling me about the crypt," I say, turning back to the salesman, who seems to have finally finished his pitch. Even though the crypt seems super creepy and there's no way in hell we're doing that corpse head-to-head thing. "I know you haven't mentioned it yet," I continue, because I seem to be expected to keep talking. "But how much do your mausoleums run?" I can see Cousin Kim shaking her head. She's pretty sure that Scott wouldn't have wanted a mausoleum. But since he insists on being dead, and I have to be here anyway, like I'm car shopping, I might as well check out this part of the showroom. "We don't talk about numbers here. We like to keep that for the end," Nice Enough Salesman says. "Don't want to overwhelm and confuse you." Too late, man. In the past 48 hours, my life, the one that included a husband and baby and job and was generally awesome, has become a great, sparkly clusterfuck. I haven't even figured out how to tell my not quite 2-year-old that daddy's not actually working late. I have not the first effing clue how to even process this toxic cloud that's blown up my life. But I'm pretty sure I can handle a price list. Nice Enough Salesman is very pleasant, so I smile and get back on the cart. He drives it to a small fenced-in area of grave markers of various shapes and sizes, inscribed with an eclectic collection of names. A Korean here, an Irishman over there in the corner, some random wasps. Some random wasps. That's a good band name, I whispered to Scott, who could not hear me. I remember once interviewing a man whose wife had been killed in a hit and run maybe 6 hours before he answered the phone and found an apologetic young reporter on the other end, asking him about losing the love of his life.